Edison, but you're looking good, so all is well. Right, setting up for YouTube. And we are live. I think we're live. Yes, we're live. Awesome, awesome. Greetings, family. Sister Shanice in the house. As you can see, I'm alongside Brother Jammers and Brother Edison. And I'm absolutely delighted that we're going to be having a fantastic, blacktastic show for you today. And our brothers looking absolutely awesome. And they're coming in body, soul, spirit, and power, family, for a great show tonight. So spread the word, get the link out there, let everybody know that we are live. Brother Jammers, how you doing?
All good, you know, but I'm looking like a fugitive at the moment, in hiding at the moment. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you come out of hiding for the show tonight, because, you know, it's always a pleasure to have you on board. So welcome. For those of you who don't know Jammers, I'll ask him to introduce himself in just a moment. Let's get a sound check for Brother Edison. Rise up, Brother Edison. How you doing?
Rise up. I'm very good this evening. I'm looking forward to the show, and I'm looking forward to the questions you wanted to ask me last time and you didn't get a chance. So today's going to be the day.
Okay, well, fingers crossed, because the last time I was unable to ask the questions because, you know, my internet was playing up and I wasn't able to join in the conversation as I had wanted to. So let's hope that today my internet, fingers crossed, is going to allow me to do so. So wonderful to have you back. And family, I'm going to just remind you, or I'll ask my guests to remind you what the last show was all about, for those of you who may have missed it, okay? And then not only we're going to have a brief recap, but we're going to be taking the conversation that one step further to another level, hopefully. Well, that's certainly the plan.
Always.
So family, as you come through the door, let us know that you're in the house. Let us know where in the world that you're watching us from. We're delighted that you are joining us. Brother Edison, just before you joined us behind the scenes, I was asking Brother Jammers if he'd come across any of the posts from our beloved sister, Elaine the Pain, she calls herself. She's a sister who's calling for a boycott of Asian stores who, as you know, profit considerably off of our community. And because she's called for this boycott, which is really just an effort for us, in an attempt for us to recirculate the pound more within our own community, and to be a bit more conscious about the fact that, you know, when we spend outside of our community, we're depriving our community of that much needed financial resource that we need. And so, you know, she's bringing awareness to all of this. And, you know, obviously you would expect her to get a lot of criticism from the Asian world, because, you know, they are losing their customers, aren't they? But you wouldn't expect, which is what I was hearing today from a post that she had done, that she would be getting so much backlash from Black men. So I'm going to ask each of you, starting with Jammers, why is it, do you think, that so many of our Black men are giving our sister Elaine so much criticism and such a difficult time about this campaign and initiatives that she's launching, rather than standing with her and supporting her? Brother Jammers, please take yourself off mute and give me an idea what this could all be about.
The real deal about all of this is that there's an element of cowardice amongst the Black men. They're full of talk, but when it comes to real action, especially, I mean, we can shoot and kill each other easily, rob from each other, you know. But when it comes to the real enemy, I'm sorry to say this, but there's an element of cowardice in it, because this is pure financial sense, survival sense. If you look at Amos Wilson, Black Power, and if you look at how other communities work, you know, it's all about coming together and putting out finances together. So if you know, if the Empress has made a statement like this, which really there should be support. So anybody who's not supporting it from our perspective is a coward. Boom.
Cowardice. Wow, wow, wow. What percentage of our men today would you estimate, from your opinion, Brother Jammers, actually have that element of cowardice? You know, how bad is it? You're still on mute. He's on mute.
You really want to end my career here, you know, but I
Which is no, not at all. I mean, you know, it's interesting that you say that. So it's said a man them afraid like puss. Some of them afraid like puss. Them rather
talking,
criticize rather than stand with the sister.
I'm,
True.
well, I'm talking, and you know as well, I'm talking from practical experience. I went to go on a march against the government. I rang up certain men who I thought would in support, and all of them made excuses. So I went on the march. I was so fed up, I went down on the march myself. And when I came out of that, it was the sisters who were supporting me. You know, so the real deal is, you know, we like to talk, but it's the sisters who've got the real power. And I think what would actually make the men do certain things is if the sisters were standing in front of us, then we would come out in force, you know. But this is it.
Right.
This is the
Wow.
scenario. I'm talking from practical experience.
Wow, wow. If the sisters are standing up in front, the man then will come behind. But that's not what our sister Elaine is experiencing. She's finding that our man them, Brother Edison, are the ones
Yeah.
who are criticizing her, tearing her down. You know, they're posting posts, standing with the Asians. As we know, the Asians have been making a mockery out of our culture. They pirate, you know, everything, you know, Black and Caribbean and cultural. You know, they love our culture and at the same time, you know, profit so much off of us. You would think that they would want to share some of the profits with us rather than condemn, you know, our sister for suggesting that we circulate our money within our community a bit more. And then to have our men not stand with us, but openly come out and tear a sister down for standing up. Brother Edison, oh, well, go on there, sir. What do you think the problem is with my brother?
I would love to think that the majority of us wouldn't actually do that. That there'll be a few that want to get, you know, can we all just get along? Characters that will come up and try their best to say, I don't want to offend anyone. I want to be in a position where everybody loves me, but I don't love myself. Because unless you're directly profiting from the Asian community, then why would you stand up for them against your own? And the concept of circulating your money within your environment. So what they say the Jewish do, that their money circulates how many times? 27 times before it comes out of their community, whereas ours is one or twice, and we're doing that. But unfortunately, it is engineered self-hate, where your women have to move forward before exactly what Jammer said. If the women were being attacked, then we would step forward. Some of us, but some of us still are carrying this whole colonial mentality of everyone is everyone and we're all together, which is what everyone promotes to us. We're all together as long as it comes to business, then we're by ourselves.
Wow. So, Brother Edison, do you think it is then that a lot of our men have actually bought into this kumbaya equality, we're all the same? Why, and if that is the case, Brother Jammers, why is it then that our men have bought into this kumbaya song, we're all the same, we shouldn't be, you know, putting our own race first when clearly all other races do it? Well, you know, why is it that our men seem to think that you know, we should all just hold hands and sing together and get along, go along to get along? Well, and not realizing that none of the other races are doing it. They're all supporting their own.
You see, the black women have
why have we got it
always
so
stood up.
twisted?
The black women have always stood up for the community. And whenever there's a march or any sort of demonstration or any sort of critique of someone, the women are going to stand up first. The men, we've had to adopt. Yeah, we've had to change and lose our identity to fit into the community. of the work environment. So we've had to learn, you know, many of us, how do you say, code switch so quickly, you wouldn't recognize some of us if you heard us on the phone. Whereas women do not code switch as such. And if they dislike a situation, they will stand up and say, I'm not standing for this, and leave. Where the man, for his fears of containing his family, he will stay in places he doesn't belong, because that's the best way he can help his situation or help his family situation. Many of us don't want to go to work and work in environments where we have to tone our voice, we have to behave in a way, otherwise we're the first ones out of the door. And we've lived in that mentality for such a long time, where we are chameleons. We'll fit into any environment and communicate in whatever way we have to, as long as we can stay and bring home the bacon. So that's unfortunately many of our mindsets. It's not good, but it's not bad, because at the same time, if we had the capacity to fight for everything and couldn't earn a crust, you know, there's the saying where a broke woman or a woman without money is still respected more than a man without money. And he knows he has to provide. If it's a broke man, nobody has no interest in, they'll tell him, look, you're fighting for everyone, but not for your family. Settle down and go through it. But if a woman has no money because she's losing jobs and things like that, still it's for a man to come and save her in that moment. So we've got a totally different mentality when it goes into those situations. No one wants a broke man.
I hear that.
No
And I understand that, you know, some men may feel that they're in a situation where they need to toe the line and walk with their tail between their legs and not offend anybody, you know, for fear of, oh, sorry, let me get that. I've got to switch a switch. I'm coming back.
No problem. Chalmers, what do you think on the subject?
Well, there's been a scientific and surgical. Oh,
that was my cellular was beeping.
Okay.
So I had to go switch a switch. So yeah, and you know, I can understand the man feeling that, you know, he doesn't want to rock the boat and he wants to, you know, fit in and so that he can bring home the bacon. But you know, to lose his identity and feel that he has to disrespect his woman, I don't know about that. What do you say to that, Brother Jammers? I'm coming back.
Well, there's been a scientific and surgical removal of especially the black man's free will and his spirit. You know, the ability to be a self-determinating being has been scientifically and surgically removed from the essence of the black man. We are one of the species of animal that doesn't self-perpetuate or self-determine ourselves. So this has been once again a scientific psychological removal of the black man's free spirit and free will. You know, when you really look at the essence of the whole of the system, once again, syst is an inward growth. Stem means to stop, as you stem the flow of water. So a system is designed to stem your inward growth. The whole essence of the being that is in control is the reason why they're in control is because everything that they value is important. They've had to import it from somewhere else. So they have a system to stop the people who they've imported. That's why they call it important. The people who they've imported it from getting it back. All war, which is WAR, is fought, when we reverse it, is fought against raw, RAW. So all war is waged for raw materials. They're very, when they look at something, they call it an object. When you object to something, that means you dislike it. And ob means against, as in the word obstacle. Ject means force. So basically, everything they look at, they use a force against it. Why do they use a force against it? Because everything they look at, they observe it. What's observe? Ob, once again, means to stop, as in the word obstacle. Serve. So they are against, they want everybody to serve them, but they're against serving anybody. That's why they observe anything. Observe is not a word, it's a verb, it's a doing word. It means you against serving. Object again is another doing word. I do not like what I am seeing. So I have developed a system to stop the people who I'm warring against for their raw material to get it back. That's why I say our free will and our spirit has been surgically removed by the system.
Mm. Powerful, brother Jammers. Woo! Our men are the object of a system which is coming with a force against them, and they feel this force. And for some, rather than stand up and fight, that cowardism comes in, where they feel that they have to stand with the system rather than standing with their own women. So that's the individual.
Yeah.
Brother Edison, let's look at it from a collective perspective now. You have the individual in the workplace who may feel that he needs to toe the line. But if we look across our community as a collective, we are so powerful. If our men were to come together, they wouldn't need to work for anybody else. They could create their own jobs, could they not? They could become all powerful and almighty all by themselves, could they not?
I think the
What
younger
are they, sir?
generation, I think the younger generation are going to prove that to be right, because they realize that there's nothing going to be given to them for free. But back in the day, slightly older generations were aware that their way of doing things, we would want to come together, and we would know that as soon as, I remember being in the Nation of Islam, and I always used to remember them explaining that their bills would be higher than anyone else. There would always be a concerted effort to make it so difficult for the black man to generate any business that he would always have to be paying twice as much for half as much. And the mindset to do that and to keep going, which is what everyone expects of him, no one gives him credit for doing that anymore. We're living in an environment where if you don't provide results, no one has no patience for you. And he's got to find a way in which because remember, he's been psychologically degenerated all of his life. The system has been built, as Jam has said, to consciously give him a fear to stand up against anyone that is coming at him. He knows if he's in a work environment, he's going to be the first one to go, even if he's correct. Because they're going to look at him and say, look, you're trouble. We shouldn't have got you here in the first place. We were doing it not to appear racist, so we're going to have you go out first. So he's worked out through his work career, being himself doesn't profit him. Yeah, and in a situation, even with these women, because those women may say, walk away from the job today, and then tomorrow, how comes you haven't got another job? And everyone switches based on what emotions that they're facing at the same time at the moment. So if it was consistent along the board to say, yes, you can leave your job, I will support you, he would fight every cause. But he knows today someone could tell him, leave your job, go and do that, and then tomorrow be complaining that there's no money. So he's learned I've got to make what I have to do to survive. And sometimes taking the emotional route is not going to land me in the route to success and how we're going to actually be able to provide what we need. So that's the counterbalance he's fighting. And there's also a situation where if it's an emotional thing, which is perfectly understandable, the practical long term of doing that, he has to see a system where he says, well, that's going to benefit us. Because if the infrastructure of buying from black isn't there, then what do you do? Yeah, there's only so much you can buy, so much you can do. The system doesn't exist that allows you to switch from one to another. I don't believe in standing with the Asians against your women. That's absolutely incorrect. You've got to defend your woman in every circumstance in that way, because if you don't, other people will take advantage of her, which will eventually impact you. But I can see a load of men not pushing themselves because the fear of repercussion, even if it's not logical, they've still been built with that. whenever they're introduced into any situation.
I can understand that to some extent, beloved. And so, I can understand why men may kind of toe the line within the workplace and, want to code switch, want to maybe try and lose their identity a bit or what have you. I can understand that within the workplace to try and hold down their job because, white people do that all the time. You've got white people who go to work every day and absolutely hate it. And then one day they'll jump off the top floor of a building and kill themselves. You know what I mean? Because they have been so stressed and depressed at work. So I know the workplace can be a very intimidating environment. And because, a lot of people rely on that income to pay their mortgage, they kind of feel as though they're strung up by the short and curlies, didn't they?
That's
So I
right.
can understand that. But, if you can't stand with the woman, zip it. Stay quiet. Why them feel say them if I come out and say something derogatory, insulting against? Don't they realize, why do they have to? Why do they feel they have to go that extra mile? Give me an understanding around the mindset of that one, if you can, please.
There's some weak-willed men out there that literally are men by the term, and they don't have, especially nowadays, a lot of the younger men, not to cast aspersions on all of them, but they're more emotional than logical. And they don't have that tenacity to stand up in rain, winter, or shine, or even stand before a woman nowadays and say, I'm going to protect you against everything. That unfortunately is being bred out of men. And with the modern situation that we're going through, where there's more young men that are being brought up by mothers by themselves, that's going to even become even more prevalent because they would have grown up in homes where the lead parent may have been emotional or distant, trying to find a way to find that balance to bring up that young man. Where the women are trying to play two roles and they can't play two roles well.
And again, that's because the man isn't, standing in his rightful place as the man of the house, as the father of the house, as the breadwinner, as the grandfather, as the backbone. Woo!
It's tough. It's tough because remember when there was that, we're living in the generation of where mothers were given places when they didn't have their men around.
Yes, yes.
And if the man was there for more than 3 days, she would lose a place. It was always ironic. You had enough money to pay for the rent and everything, but when a man was there, all of a sudden you didn't have enough money. So the young men had to go out, do what they needed to do. But the problem is if they couldn't create their own, they had to work with someone. So they were in a position where someone could see them. I know with my African name, if I brought it certain places on a CV, oh no, you're not good enough. Your name's not the right kind of name.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to given a lesser position than the qualification of what you can do. So some of us are coming out of that generation where we're now we had to become more adaptable if we wanted to survive in any environment. Yeah,
Wow.
it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse before it gets better, I'm afraid. It's going to get worse.
I hear you, and also you talked about these boys that become men being brought up in households where the women are the head of the household. So it's like, what can we do to put that backbone, in that boy that's going to become a man, so that he can be the man that he needs to be, in the home, in the community, in the workplace, as he struts the street. My generation, our men used to walk with a bounce. All them walk on bounce with them head hold high. But we've gone from that to our boys hanging their head low and their trousers round their ankles and wanting to, just please everybody and almost disappear within the system without being seen or heard.
Our sisters out there are so much stronger than our men right now. And you can see in interactions between men and women, it has been so organized that if a man stands up and even just states his case, there'll be 10 behind telling him of all he is and how he shouldn't, cause any problems. And, the women are, in many cases, much more ready to be aggressive than the men are. The man can't say those things like they used to. Back in the day, the
Well,
man could
well,
speak in that way, but right now, it's just not the case. We know why, and we understand why. But the thing is, it's, how do you say, how can someone listen when they're already angry, or they're in a state where their body is feeling annoyed of all the things they have to travel through and all they have to do? The sisters of this world really have a lot on their plate. And we ask them to be calm and relaxed in that situation. It's like saying, I'm going to put you in the frying pan, but you shouldn't scream. It's not possible. And literally, as such, they're fed up of that scenario. They come into the men, and the men are just not strong enough to handle the new type of energy that is around at the moment. Yeah, so our men are running away. They're running here, they're running there, because they can't contain and hold the conversations that they're actually holding with their sisters.
Wow. We grew up with music like "Get Up, Stand Up, stand up for your right," and we really felt that we needed to stand up for our rights, and we need to bring back those revolutionary songs and somehow get to the spirit. They've broken the spirit, I feel, of a lot of my men. This is what I'm hearing. But what do you think? Those of you in the chat, welcome, welcome. We're just having a bit of a conversation here. By way of opening, some of you may well have seen the post and heard the campaign that's been called for by our sister Elaine Le Payne, and it's caused a lot of controversy because she's asking our members of our community to buy black and put our money back in our community. The Asians feel offended that we're suggesting that we should buy black as opposed to Asian. And, I was asking, why is it that some of our men have decided that they're going to try and tear down the sister, for what she's proposing, rather than standing with her or keeping quiet? We heard from Brother Jammers, and we've heard from Brother Edison about what their views are. I'd like to know some of your comments as well in the chat. So as you come through the door, please give us a thumbs up. It's great to have you in the house. Give us a like and drop your comments in the comment section. And in a very short while, we're going to be going over to the main topic of conversation, and Jammers will be rejoining us very soon too. So Zed Charles, welcome, welcome. You're saying awesomeness. Great to have you in the house. Loretta, great to have you in the house. Saying greetings, family. UKK, chant down Babylon. Yeah, man, chant down Babylon. And that we can do. We got Quiet Storm in the house as well. Wishing us a good afternoon. So wherever Quiet Storm is, it's afternoon right now. Rise up, rise up. And we've got Betty in the house as well. Great to have you in the house. Saying Grand Rising, Sister Shanice, joining us from London, UK. And rising up the entire family. Yeah, we've got the Kashiba in the house as well, greeting us from Maryland. Good to have you in the house. You said had a hard time finding your show. The algorithm did not work. They ain't stopping, are they, sis? I tell you, they're always they're getting rid of my subscribers. They don't alert my subscribers when I go live. Now people are finding it difficult to find me, even when they are searching for my show. But thank you so much for your perseverance and for finding me. We got Karen in the house. Welcome. Good to have you in the house. She's welcoming us and the speakers, welcoming all of the kings and queens, and reminding us that we are B first, black first for life. Ashe. Doravel's in the house as well, saying be first, brilliant first as well. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And saying the system, yeah, with a CYSTEM. Yes, that kind of system. Yes, and they can be a play on time as well. And Jammers is getting some rising up. Jammers, one with the book, bro. So, Brother Jammers, when you come back, you've got to let the family know what the timescale is for the book. And Kashiba's saying, same problem here in the USA. We need a new system and a different mindset. This has been going on for the last 2,000 years. We keep falling into the same trap. We hear you on that. Rise up, Watchman, watching the Hawks. Good to have you in the house as well. And Dorovel saying they don't respect the origin story. So true. You can't get a fish to train a cat. True, true.
That's a
Kate Sapphire is saying, Shanice, would it be funny if you were in a commercial with that stern voice telling the man them that they need to be what? The man they need to be in it. In it. Big up yourself, man them. Be the man you're supposed to be. Yeah, hold up your head high, hold up your pants, and walk on bones. Yeah, man. Yes, let's rise up and big up our man them. Women, let's big up our man them so much that them feel big boats here. Yeah, the system tears them down. We've got to do what we can to build them up. We got Queen Mother in the house as well, sending us blessings from Johannesburg in South Africa. Yes, we got South Africa in the house. Rise up, rise up. Great to have you in the house. Kate Safa, I wish my dad was around when I was an adolescent. I had to learn to be a man through trial and error. And yeah, that's another thing, Brother Edison, as you're saying, if you don't have the man in the house, not only have you got the woman trying to, you know, make the man out of the boy or make the boy to become a man, but they don't have a man to model themselves on. And so not having that brave black man in the house has really damaged our community. And you touched on that, you know, how the system deliberately came up with policies so that we would push our men out the house because it would be more financially beneficial for the system to pay all of our bills and provide us with a house than be struggling with a man. But it wasn't the case at all. It's just devastated the black family. So we really need to come together and struggle together to make it. But do the man them want to struggle these days? Them don't want to struggle. They want easy life. I hear some man say, yeah, that's why we go with the other. That's why we race hop because life too hard with the black woman. Well, when you race hop now, life easier. Are true? You haven't heard that?
It's the same wherever you go. The grass is the same. The problem that they have is, I love seeing when I see what do you say, young white women skipping. And I try and remember the last time I saw a black woman skipping just for the fun of it. Her life is not that kind of life where I could sit there and just feel idly get a bubble on. No, we have a paradigm where the woman has come through too much and she's seen too much. And she's had to go through watching her brothers, watching her father, watching her partners struggle in the system out there. And she wants to fight as hard as she can. But the man realizes, no, you're not built for that kind of fight. Or they used to recognize she's not built for that kind of fight. Her nervous system can't handle that level of, how do you say, level of unfairness without it being able to stay calm and relaxed in that. She'll see the injustice and need to say something. Whereas the man has to realize, if I cry at every moment, no one will take me seriously. I can't afford to do that. So he has to stand stoic in bad times because his nervous system is built to handle that and still carry on going forward. Yeah,
wow.
The worst thing as well for the young black man now as well, or men, in the situation where they got women to go out to work, their mothers used to be the one who calmed them down. A young boy would go to his mother would hug him. She wouldn't, chastise him as such, but put him in a position where he could release his pain into her. But nowadays, no one's got time. If the guy is het up, he's angry, where can he release it? He can't go to his mom like he used to. She'll provide for him. She'll help him, but she can't help to calm him down. And so he's walking around with that anger and he's got nowhere to release it unless doing something he shouldn't. Or it's drink, or it's drugs, or it's playing games. So there's a whole psychological paradigm that there's poison in the community on both sides. And as such, No one's recognizing the poison. No one's finding a way to offsuit. The women will blame the men will blame the women. Everyone's blaming each other, and no one's actually finding a solution, because they're going to turn around and say, well, the men, you should work something out. And the men will say, oh, the women, you should be a certain way so that we want to work it out. And as long as they can keep them two arguments coming together, we're going to fight with each other and be in a position where we're always saying, waiting for the other person to change before we change.
Wow, family, drop your comments in the chat. Want to hear from you. Just a few more rise ups, then we're going to go into the topic of conversation today. Rise up, Nam. We got Nam in the house saying he can't let them stop with sis. True talk. We got Shannon tuning in from the Gambia. Rise up, Sister Shannon. We got Karen tuning in from USA saying these blacks be looking at for themselves. Start the teaching at a young age. All right, we got to start with the young man then. Yeah, and Karen goes on to say that elder black men gather around and teach the black youths. Yeah, because, you know, our young men, when they're young, they're fearless. I hear what you say about the men, but our young people are fearless. They're ready for burn down Babylon. They see right from wrong. And, you know, somehow we've got to harness that energy in a way that it's going to, you know, be for the betterment of our people.
You know, the irony is the young men see force used to control them, and then they're told not to exert force to fight back. The people in control are in control because they've used force via the police, force by courts, force by what have you, to maintain their control. And there's an unfairness there. But we want the young boys to be quiet, just do the right thing, and go through that same conditioning that we're suffering from now. We're saying that the young men are weak, but they don't want to be weak. They want to fight.
They don't want to be weak. We tell them, you know, the elders are saying, you get stopped, you know, comply, don't say anything, keep your, you know, your voice down, your head down. What? And when they just want to headbutt the bloke, do you know what I mean?
It's like, which is natural. Which is natural.
Yeah, what are you pulling me up for? You know, I've done nothing wrong. And then they want to come and bad up the boy, them, you know, our young men, them for no reason at all, and throw them down on ground and jump on them and do whatever, all sorts of manner of things. And our boys are supposed to accept that. And then the man, them are saying, yeah, I saw it go, you got to accept it. It's like soul destroying, isn't it?
That's the whole aim. The aim is to destroy the soul of the young man. What do they say? Kill it before it grows. Before it grows into an adult. One of the things they make sure that they didn't teach the black community is how to fight for themselves.
So that's what we got to do. We need that fighting spirit. You've touched on it there. That's what it is. We need to get back that fighting spirit, you know, in our young people through whatever, you know, games, sports, whatever it might be. You know, we need our young people to have that fighting spirit so that when they become a man, they still have that fighting spirit, you know. 100%. And it just reminds me, we want to send our condolences out to Jamil, who passed away in prison. Jamil, what's his surname, family in the chat? Yeah, he was a revolutionary freedom fighter back in the 60s and 70s. And he was arrested and accused of murdering a sheriff and attempted murdering a deputy sheriff. But he was innocent. They knew he was innocent. But because, you know, the COINTELPRO was focused on him and wanted to bring him down anyway, they colluded with each other, the court system and everybody else, to bring those charges against him, which they found him guilty for, and kept him locked up in prison for about the last 20 plus years. I'll find the case and I'll come back on that. But yeah, he died in prison, you know, 80 plus. They never let him out. This is what they do to powerful black men. But then I want to ask a question, because before he went in prison, he converted to Islam, and he became an imam.
Yeah.
Why Farrakhan never bring 1,000,000 black men to march from the prison?
Well, this is it. Look, the
Tell
Farrakhan
me
and all those
that's
guys.
what I call exerting our power. Like Malcolm X did when they arrested somebody in the prison that time. They all of them marched down to the prison and they're like, we want to see him. We want to make sure he's okay. And we're going to be at the court. We're going to make sure justice is done. Why they never marched? Why you think?
You see, the women would be more likely to march in that situation because the men are afraid, logically so, they're going to be killed. And people are going to let them be killed and they're going to march and say this, but they can't stop the system that would still kill them and take them out. Everyone's thinking, you know how everyone wants you to run and fight and they'll stay at home and want to hear the story when you come back. And when you get killed, they say, oh, there was a nice person. Let's do some tributes to him. But you, the one that went out there and got killed, only your family's going to miss you after a couple of weeks. The rest, they'll just tell nice stories about you. And that's where we are. The organization, not to say the organization isn't there and the men are trying, but they can't capture the imaginations of everyone there. And the young people, again, they don't have the history. They don't know the stories. Education has deliberately undereducated them. So when you speak of certain people, they're going to be like, oh, who is that? I'm sure he was a nice man, but they're not going to have any history of that struggle. Look at Marcus Garvey. How many of the youngsters know of Marcus Garvey? And even of Malcolm X, they probably know the movie more than they know anything else. Yeah, they don't know who he is and what he stood for. So
For real. Okay, I'm going to
yeah.
park that now, but just to leave you all with the name, it's Jamil Al-Amin. He spent 23 years in prison. I've got it now. Please read his story. He was falsely charged, and even though the culprit who did actually commit the murder confessed, and confessed under oath, they refused to reach trial and free Jamil because they were so afraid of this powerful black man. And that's what we're talking about. When our men are powerful, the system knows how to crush them. And so this is one of the reasons why a lot of our men don't want to stand up, and be that powerful voice, because as our brother Edison said, the system will crush them or kill them. And then the rest of us on the plantation would be like, oh, he was a nice man. But if everybody stood up, we could hold the system by its short and curlies and deal with it. Okay, let's park that there now because, but that was a really interesting perspective. And thank you for that, because I really wanted to know, why it was he wasn't getting the kind of support that we would expect from our men. And between the two of you, you've given a brilliant answer on that. Now, when we last had you on the show, well, actually, before we go into that, can I ask each of you to just briefly introduce yourselves? Brother Edison, please tell the audience who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name's Edison Abandge, as you can see up on my system. I run a company called Ancestral Essence, where we have been trying to reintroduce the African spirituality into the community in a way that fits in with our modern understanding. We've been doing it for about 12 years and running courses for at least 10 years into how you communicate with your ancestors, how your ancestors have been around you from day one, and how the battles inside your mind, the conversations inside your mind are of different energies trying to take over you and control you so your ancestors can't speak. So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell. We, as we said, do courses, do readings, do counseling. We sell oils. We do anything we can to try and raise up the people in the community, because there's foundational secrets and foundational understandings that we had back in the day that we've lost, that would help us be in better strength and better health when dealing with this life. And that has been created to keep us as low as possible as much of the time. So go ahead.
Rise up, rise up. Great to have you on the show. Brother Jammers, welcome back.
Rise up, each and everyone. Yeah, I suppose I'm a many-sided coin. The side of the coin that's here today. I'm a co-presenter on Galaxy with yourself and as I say, my intellectual military scientist, Dr. Abu Ratata, you know, and also I've gone through the school of Brother Dougie and also Brother Edison. What happened to me, I was living in a van for about 2 years, and then something came to me that gave me this understanding about words, you know, and I've been getting downloads and insights and words, and the evidence is I'm here still doing it now, and I'm going to be also doing a course, opening my courses from February, March next year as well, basically on etymology. One of the sites that I do is etymology, but now I'm going beyond etymology now. So it's just to give people a breakdown. I've been doing this for about 10 years, say, but etymology. Now people are starting to catch up with it, but now we're going beyond etymology. So thank you for having us on your platform.
Oh, it's a privilege and an honor to have both of you here today. Thank you so, so much. When we saw you last, you were really excited about your forthcoming event, what it is to be a human. I wonder if you can, each of you, just give us a little brief insight into how that event went, and you know, just a little flavor of what came out of it.
Okay, we're missing our other part. So go ahead, James, go.
You go, so you start.
Okay, I say we're missing our other partner in crime, Dr. Abu, or what they say, crime or in greatness. The event was thankfully a really special event in the sense that we got an opportunity to be able to tell our science and our understanding on our own terms. And we're able to speak of scenarios, sciences, Jammers with his etymology, Dr. Abu with his spiritual science. And I had an opportunity to introduce the concept of energies that work within our mind all the time. We was able to name them, show that how they impact your life, show that our lives are always been under the control of different forces within our mind, and not say abstractly, show you concretely how it is that we are being forced to behave in a certain way by energies that are invisible around us. So we were able to have the people leaving where they were entertained. There was actors from BAP. There was a singer. I'm not sure her name. Jammers might know her name, but she was very good. And there was 3 or 4 different speakers, someone playing a saxophone. It was one of those nights where you couldn't believe all the different forms of education and entertainment taking place in one place at one time. The venue was fantastic, top of the line, and everyone came away waiting for us to do the next one, which we're looking forward to get done next year. Well, early-ish next year.
Fantastic. Right, you know, if I was in the country, I would have been there, and it sounds as though it was an amazing event. I was listening to some of the comments and the feedback on the radio, and everyone was just like really talking about it. So well done, well done. Brother Jammers, from your perspective, give us a little bit of a flavor of that event, please.
I can only endorse what Edison said. Yeah, the singer was Sister J Africa, and the saxophonist was Wadada. You know, that was the theatre. And yeah, we just came together as individuals, and we decided, let us put on an event where we can express what we do. And it's like the universe just opened and the ancestors just paved the way. It all came together with 1 to 5 weeks. We had help from the Hidden Truth, Ajah Muhammad as well. He promoted on his platform. You promoted it on your platform, and that created the people to come down in support. And yes, as Edison said, it was a really good event where people are actually asking us when the next one is. So, and really, that was just the tip of the iceberg, really, because what's coming next is well, we shall see.
Oh wow! Rise up, rise up. Thank you so much for that. Also, family, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sister Shanice. I'm the host of this platform. I'm also a presenter on the Big G Galaxy Afiwi, the only de-brainwashing station. I'm also an author. There's my latest book there. Please do go to Amazon and get it. Kwanzaa's coming up. Christmas is coming up. Whatever you celebrate, the gift of knowledge, far supersedes any gift that you can give anyone, because once they've got knowledge, once they've acquired the knowledge of who they are and their greatness, it will help to instill, that level of confidence in themselves that is needed to get through in today's society. So they've hidden so much from us, family. We are greater than we can even begin to imagine. And for as long as they can make us believe that we are less than, never have been anything, and never will be, that's when also we're going to be an easier race to conquer. But the minute we wake up, because we've got the knowledge of our former greatness and who we are, I'll tell you, our men will have that spring in their tail all over again. So women, if you need to get it and read it to your boys, read it to your men, please make sure you do so. Readers are leaders. Yes, rise up, rise up. So, Brother Edison, you were saying about,
Yes.
the courses that you do, opening us up to hear from our ancestors, those in the unseen realm, the unseen world, who are trying to communicate with us, who are trying to talk to us on a daily basis. You do the works to try and open us up to that dimension. And that's where we're going to some extent with looking at us as humans, because we are multidimensional, living in a planet which is also multidimensional. You mentioned ancestors. We often hear the term spirituality. So as humans, some of us might want to know, how can we ascend into that unseen realm where we can hear from our ancestors who have the knowledge of our former greatness, so that they can communicate, that knowledge down to us, and also tell us about inventions and things that we could be doing to help us through this dimension during this time.
Okay. I'm about to do another course starting on Sunday called Being Human, the Secret World of Us, where what I found was when we would teach people how to connect with their ancestors, there would always be problems and voices they would hear within them to try and discourage them. All of us experience them. When we wake up in the morning, as soon as we open our eyes, we're bombarded by a load of voices, almost like waiting for us to say, "You're awake? Let me tell you of all the things you've got to do today. Let me tell you of all the things you had to do yesterday and what you've got to do in the future." And by the time you've got up and you're out your bed, your head is already spinning while you're looking in the mirror of, how am I going to do all of this? And these are energies that exist in the 99% of reality we don't see. You see, as human beings, our minds can only see the light information from 1% of all the light that is out there. Things like microwaves, Wi-Fi waves, radio waves, they're not visible to us, but there's instruments around us that can pick these things up. So in that whole scenario of energy around us that we can't see, there are a set of energies that have been since the time immemorial. These what the pre-Christians actually used to be aware of, these energies. And there were 7 of them where they effectively deal with your need for relationships, your need for wealth, your need for sex, your need for vanity, your need for standing up for yourself. And they're the ones that have got your need for materialism. And they're also the ones that have created the fake gods that we worship. All of them have created this parasitical paradigm where all they're doing is finding ways within our mind, in our conversations, and in our stories to feed off our energy. If you've ever been in a scenario where you've judged a person and then you say, oh, well, you're this and that, and you find before you know, you've heard 10 different reasons why that person's a terrible person.
Mm.
And you say, oh, your mind's think, oh yeah, and you did this once upon a time, and you did that once upon a time. And these are these energies that will have you in a conversation within yourself, constantly becoming more and more annoyed until you get to that point where you're sitting there zapped, your energy's been taken away, and you've timed out of yourself. You're in that position now where your mind is, you're scared because you said, oh God, I could say anything in this state when I'm that annoyed. And this is where the energies come up and start speaking through your mouth, start speaking badly to people around you. And you know it's not you, and you know it's not what you want to do, but you can't seem to help the way in which you're communicating with people. So this happens in all the different aspects of your life because these energies have been promoting your need for wealth, your need to fight in wars, the argumentative, the constant story that the black woman is angry at is an energy. It's not her. There's an actual energy that is provoking her to be in a state of the slightest thing. She times out, and this energy now speaks on her behalf. We want to have people understand that, hold on, this has not been you. The arguments we're having amongst each other are two different energies having that argument, and they feed off our sense of annoyance, and they feed off when we're angry and upset. They want to keep us in a low argumentative vibration self by obviously all the time self-judging ourselves. Vanity, this is one of the entity that makes you feel bad about how you look, is a specific energy that is constantly telling you you're not of the standard, you're too big, you're too tall. And when you start thinking in that way, before you know, your energy's gone to do anything about it. You know what you need to do, but you never have the energy to do it. And this, in a relationship, your partner's perfectly fine at the beginning, but this energy will start telling you, oh no, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, they're not doing this, to the point where you become annoyed at the sight of them, but they haven't changed. It's just you're getting advice in your mind telling you that they're not up to standard, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And then you now break up or get to the point where the relationship's in a bad place. And as long as the relationship's in a bad place, this energy has food from both of you. So it's a whole web of how being human has not been what we've been doing. As soon as someone says the term human, they've disconnected you from your spirit and your body. And now you're trying to be this third thing, a human where you don't own any of the standards, you don't own any of the language. All you're now is asked to be that servant they want you to be in order for them to look at you in a favorable way. So this is the big thing that I find, that all of us are not actually living our lives for ourselves. We're living it for these energies to feed off us unknowingly because we didn't and we weren't told that these things exist. So yeah, we found this is why people would want to get in contact with their ancestors. And the question you asked at the beginning, in your mind, you have so many voices taking place at the same time. You can't hear your ancestor clearly. You hear them. They're the one that tells you not to do something. And you went and done it. You said, you know what, I was told that was going to go like that. And then you say, go and do this. You say, no, 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 I don't need to do it now. And then next thing you find, you know, I was told I should do that. And that happened. So they're there all the time trying to talk to us, trying to give us those bits of advice that we don't follow and regret later. But we have all these other voices in our mind telling us to do things out of fear that we can't hear them. So they're not that they're not there, they're always there. But unfortunately, these other energies that we don't, that we follow, we listen to, haven't been identified, so we don't protect ourselves against them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much on that. So, you know, as you was talking there, I was just visualizing, you know, us as humans, but we're also multifaceted. So there's the spiritual side, the soul, and we're energy as well. So there's all these different, you know, parts of us, but the human side of us, the physical side of us is getting like there's a radio on and it's transmitting all this worldly information to us on a daily basis that's keeping us, you know, so bogged down. We don't even get the chance to transcend into all of these other higher levels of energies that we are, which is where our greatness and where the knowledge is that we need to acquire. Wow. And so, you know, brother Jammers, you know, as humans, you know, when we talk about what it means to be human, there's so much going on.
Well, the thing about the word human, it's just a word. It doesn't tell you what to do. The thing about the word spirit, it's just a word. It doesn't tell you what to do. It doesn't tell you what actions to actually perform. You see, these words that we've been given don't give us any science behind them. And the words that we've been given, no species of animal on the planet listens to another species of animal. You don't see a frog, even though it's similar, chatting to a toad. You know, you don't see an ant chatting to a cricket. We are the only species of animal on the planet that is listening to somebody who's never spent a millisecond in our shoes, you know. And that is the first problem. The first problem is that we're taking this language of science, once again, from people who've only come halfway through the movie. Everything that they say is guesswork because they never witnessed the start of the movie. Just look at the evidence of civilization. So the first problem we have is that we're listening to these sounds that have been given to someone who does not have the capacity to determine who we are and what we're supposed to do for ourselves. We come from an infinite source. Creativity and the essence of creativity is infinite. Science is finite. A finite thing cannot interpret what infinity is. So, for instance, mathematics is flawed if you're taking it as a form of trying to calculate infinity, because mathematics works on a measurement of something that is finite, something that doesn't move, something that is static, when infinity is ever changing. So the first problem we have is the words that we've been given have no science behind them, don't tell you what to do. Our original science, for want of a better word, was nature. It's basically we got how we're supposed to do by nature. No animal on the planet is sitting down looking at a book or in a discussion. Nature is the teacher. Nature tells you what you're supposed to do, but nature is an active science. It's a doing something. It's not something that you read about or speculate or think about. Funny enough, ink comes from the word think, but that's another story. But nature is something that you do, something that you navigate to get to your optimum capacity. So that's the first problem, is that every sound, especially the words nouns, is just something, what something is called. There's no science in it. The word noun just means what you call something. There's no science behind the word cat. A cat won't respond to it. If you call a cat a cat, it will just walk past you because it doesn't see itself as that essence, you know. So the problem is that you've got somebody other than yourself is calling you something who doesn't know who you are. You know, the word noun, the word read, first of all, the word read, we haven't even talked what, how can we interpret what a word is when we don't even know what read is? If you can't read the word, then you're not even going to know what the word human. So the word read is made up of two codes. Re, which means to go back, add, which means to move. So the word read means to move the sounds backwards. So inside the word noun is the word know and the word on. On means when you can't do something. Capable, incapable. Stable, unstable. So on means something that you can't do. Know, in their essence, means knowledge. So when you reverse that sound, it's to unknow something. Every time they tell us something, it stops us from being who we are. It's designed to make us forget who we are. So when we're learning from them, we're forgetting who we are. So that's the first problem. The word human doesn't tell you what to do. The word spirit goes back to the Greek word breathe. If you ask any minister what spirit is, after a few sentences, you run out of something to say. You know, so in order to get to who we are, it's a doing things that we have to do. And what I put it back to Edison, what has happened is basically they've taken out ancient science and using our ancient science against us. You know, and this is why we're in the predicament we are in today. I'll leave it there till Edison comes in.
You know, the funniest thing I'll say is the way in which we did used to learn. was we knew that, as they say, the whole universe was available to us. When you ask a question in your mind, you will use your voice and ask within the vastness of your brain of who you are, of the universe, and then you wait for an answer to come back. Every time when thinking of something, you go, what is that again? And you've asked a question and you're waiting. How long, how many seconds is it going to come? And then if nothing turns up, oh, I got nothing. But if something turns up, then all of a sudden you say, oh, you're hearing a voice within your mind giving you information. All of us are doing that all the time. But what they used to do back then, if it was something to invent, they would go to the Babylon, they would go to the spiritual person, and he would make a concerted effort to make a journey to the other side. These were the things that we used to teach, or we teach in our courses, how to actually create an ancestral council. So if you ever need to go and ask something, you can go to the other side and sit amongst them, and your ancestors will give you answers to the questions. And if you needed to invent something, they would come forward and start to show you how to do that. But religion did such a good job of making us so afraid to listen to the voice in our health and wait for one of these, well, demon gods or what have you to come forward and tell us nothing. If anyone turned around and you said they heard Jesus, sorry,
Jammers, we're getting feedback, sorry.
So if anyone turned around and said they heard Jesus speaking to them, you would say they're crazy. If they turn around and said, God told me this, you would think that they're crazy as well. So when someone says, oh, my ancestors told me this, even though they clearly heard the voice within their head, the person is shut down. They said, no, that could never happen. That's not possible. Human beings can't do that. Where this is what we did all the time. So as Jammers was saying, when they educated us, they gave us a language which meant that we could no longer connect to our own spiritual minds. This is why you see children could see spirits. You see children, oh, I got a man over there, or I got a special friend. And everyone used to think the kid was making it up. The kid was not making it up. Their mind had the capacity to convert waves of light into images that they see in our mind. We all have this capacity to do so, but with education and learning a language which we now use to be able to create images in our mind. Imagine if you saw a set of words and you didn't have any sound for them, as in you didn't know how to pronounce the letter, you can't see anything. You won't, even when I say the word hidden, if I don't say, if I wasn't taught at school, H means I means D means the. And we've got the letter, the drawing, but we've got no sound for it until someone teaches us a sound. Yeah, it teaches us how to say it, teaches us how to put all those images and create a sound connected to those images that come from where? Who made that decision? But that computer program has now been installed in our mind. So people now create sounds and our mind draws images, even though the words mean nothing by themselves. Not till someone tells you this. This is how they've literally created a computer spiritual code that gets your body to create visual images, to see and have different emotions, which they gave you as part of giving you the actual language. We never think of the words and the sounds. We only think of the letters, whereas the letter was by itself. If you're watching Cyrillic or Arabic and you don't know how to read it, you have no sound attached to the image, you can't visualize anything when you're looking at what you're seeing. So they have us. Where did that language come from? No one knows. Where did grammar come from, where we speak in certain sentences? Nobody knows, but all of us are under that spell. And they're controlling us on a level of our interaction with ourselves that we have no idea where it came from. And we have lost our capacity to communicate in our own languages, with our own ancestors in their own languages. And now we're in a position where we can only think by the way we've been programmed to think. And that escaping that and going to the spirit world is the things we like to show people how to do because it's all possible. But like I say, these are the energies. that will say, oh, why are you thinking about that spiritual stuff? We need to go and get this money. We need to go and fix this relationship. We need to go and get this drink. We need to go and get this dopamine. We are all these different aspects of things which we are pushed to do, which do not help us understand ourselves. Entertainment doesn't help you understand yourself. Everyone is carrying on. Oh, I watched that movie. I watched this thought. Your mind is occupied with so much nonsensical stuff, which has no impact on your life other than you're sharing entertainment stories. Why don't you talk about you? Because we don't know what we are. We just know our head is full up of language of things we don't understand. And we're living in our own personal dream. We're living in our own personal 3D world, which only we can see based on the conditioning that we've been given from everything outside of us. Jammers, you'll talk about. So go on, Sister Shanice. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for that, Brother Edison. And, you know, as you was bringing that revelation, I was seeing us disconnected from who we really are. You know, you were saying that as a people, my interpretation is that as a people, we are lost and that we have been reprogrammed, and we've been reprogrammed, and we have been taught by people who are less than, inferior than us, and who know of our greatness, but obviously are not going to teach us and enlighten us about our greatness. And so there were these other dimensions to us that we would have been taught to tune into, that we could hear from, that has been cut off now. Religion has been put in its place. Language has been used in a way now to dumb us down. And so there is a disconnect between who we really are and our ability to access the greater knowledge of self, and to be able to tap in to that world of greatness that we used to be able to draw down from, get energy from, get ideas and inspiration and creativity from. They have locked that door, bolted it, and a lot of us don't even know, you know, that that world exists, you know, for us anymore. Wow. So this is like scary stuff, really. So we're growing up and we're going through life as a minion of what we have the potential and capacity to be. Wow, Brother Jammers, let me bring you in here. We've been programmed, you know, to see ourselves as less than, and not even to be able to, and not even be able to tap into that greatness of who we are. We heard Brother Edison talk about, you know, he's trying to bring back the learning through the courses that he's doing, and he'll be able to reach only so many people. But, you know, there's a whole community of us out there on a local, regional, national, and international level who are affected by this, say, new world order of control that has locked us down spiritually, captured our energy, twisted us in terms of the knowledge of our greatness and who we are, and replaced themselves at the top of the pinnacle, you know, that we're all looking up to. I mean, this is scary stuff, that we're going through life and not really experiencing the fullness of who we are. How do we redefine, you know, ourselves and recapture our energy and our spirit and unlock this door? Where I feel like we're a genie locked in the bottle. How do we get out of this bottle and become this great genie again? Brother Jammers, what do we do?
Well, one of the founding fathers of linguistics, Ferdinand de Saussure, says that the letting go of the letter and the study of sound is the first step towards freedom. When they call you stupid, what do they call you? Dumb. What does dumb mean? When you're unable to hear the sounds that's been put to you. You know, more importantly than what is it to be human, you have to look at what is it to be you. You know, because all of these labels
is what somebody else has told you that you've got to go through before you can even get to who you are. You know, so nature, once again, because the man who said know thyself didn't know, otherwise he would have tell you who you are. Right, so I'm going to say who you are. Basically, once again, you are infinity, because an apple can only have another apple. A donkey can only have another donkey. So if you've come from a creative energy, you must be creative energy. The essence of creative energy is infinity, so that you are of infinity. That means nobody can name you. No one can say who you are, because you are incalculable, you're incomprehensible, you're ununderstandable. You're beyond any word or any mathematical equation that any man can come up with. So this is the first essence of who you are. You are greater than anything that anybody, any AI, any man or anything can create. So this is how you have to come to terms with you are this force, but you've been denied the access to who you really are. Then the next aspect of the trap that you've been given is the very identity that you've been told you have. You don't have no identity, because if you are incalculable infinity, then you are beyond having an identity. What is identity? I've got twins and my twins are non-identical. Identity just means the same as something, not who you are. So hidden in the word identity is what you really are. Before I go into that, nature shows you who you are, you know, because nature shows you who you are. Just look at a beach. The highest thing on the beach you'll see is the sun. Look at yourself. The highest thing that you see is your eyes. The sun gives out light, which is created by fire. You see things from light based on fire. So everything you see is fire, and the highest point of yourself is your eyes. Underneath the sun, you have air. Underneath your eyes, which is fire, is your nose. Your nose takes in air, just like a beach. Underneath the sun is the air. Underneath your light source is your nose, which takes in air. Underneath the air is water on the beach. Underneath your air device is water, which is your mouth. Everything that you take from your mouth is moisture. Underneath the beach, then you have the earth. Everything that you feel with your body comes from the earth. So nature is actually showing you who you are and how you need to operate yourself. You are actually a musical frequency modulating device. That's why you have an eardrum, a heartbeat, and organs. As it is, for this is how you organize yourself. So you're a frequency emitting device. You're not a human or a man, because that doesn't give you no instructions of what to do. You're beyond any word that anybody tells you. You are an operating system, but the system, once again, is a thing that's been designed to deactivate who you are. So this is the process. So once again, hidden in the word identity is the trap, because somebody has named you something. The word name is N-A-M-E-D. When you've been named, once again, a named is N-A-M-E-D. Just like a dog runs to a sound, you've been tricked into running to a sound that somebody else has given you. If you reverse it by reading that sound, you get the word D-E-M-A-N, D-man. So once I've given you that sound, you just jump when you hear the sound. That means now you are under my control. D-man, D means to bring something down, as in the word decline, deduce, deduct, devalue. And man means hand. If you check out the original of the root word man, it means a hand. So I'm not interested in you using your brain. I'm interested in just getting you to work for me. This is what the whole essence of what we were. We're now being tools. We are tools, but that to be used by somebody else. So this is the trick that they've played on us by telling us we have an identity. They also tell you you are a person. The word per means through, as in the word perceive. Son comes from the word sonance. So basically, a person is just vibration going through. You know, hidden in the word identity and hidden in the word hide is what they hide in your ID. So the first sound in the word identity is your ID. ID goes to the Greek word it. It relates to when you call something it, that means it hasn't got a name and it hasn't got a classification. So this is the real essence of you. Your creative energy is hidden in the word ID. The word ID goes back to the ancient Kemetic principle, Amen. And Amen means your hidden creative spirit, which goes back to your creative infinite essence. So you have a hidden creative spirit that is hidden in the word ID. The next word is the word entity. Entity used to be a living being, but in the 17th century it became a spoken word. So identity means that whatever I call you, this is who you are. You are no longer classed as a living being, and your creative energy is now being used to work in relation to the name that I've scripted for you to follow.
If I could say one thing quickly, is this. To add on to that, we are light. That's all we are. All the ancients will tell you that we're light beings. And we just basically, all people are interacting with you is to consume your light. These energies don't generate light. So they use the light we use to think, to feel all our emotions, and they consume our light. If you're feeling low, you need someone to bring you some light. Yeah, our voices are light generated for our ears to decode, as Jammer said, via the eardrums. What we see is light shining on an object. Everything is based on providing more light. If someone is ill, they just need light. When we're eating food, it's for the light. When they talk of amen, is the sun bringing light into the actual food, into the animals, or into the food, the grass, which takes the light. The animals eat the grass, the animals take the light, and then we eat the animals or the plant. Everything is just intelligible light. And even sound waves is light waves, denser than visual waves, denser than feeling waves. When wind is placed on you, all we're ever doing is just negotiating the light, and we are one intelligent cloud of light. Yeah, to follow with what Jammers was saying.
Thank you. Jammers, do you want to come?
Yeah, just again, nature shows you what to do. All you've got to do is look at the sky, and then you know what to do. Nature shows you that there is perpetual darkness. Darkness is perpetual darkness. What does darkness mean? The arc. What is the arc? It's the balance. It carries everything. So the darkness carries the balance of everything. So basically, our operating system, what we have to do is go into the arc nest, not darkness, the dark nest. And when you go into darkness, science, once again, Johnny come lately, they've only come through halfway. It's really science. They don't feel. We have felt science. They have science, scientists. So basically, they tell you that light is an external force. Once again, light is something that you can't do nothing with, because scientists tell you that light is something that you see passively, comes into your receptacle, your eyes, and you are just a passive participation. Light is not light as in science. Light for us is intelligence, because things come to light. So light is not an external force. Light means intelligence. So you've got to go into the dark nest for things to come to light, but light is not light as scientists. Light is intelligence. But they've tricked us to not to travel, because the word for traveling is fear, as in bus fear, air fear, welfare. So once again, they freeze things, because these people come from the ice age, and inside the word ice again is I see. I don't feel. If you put your hand in a fridge, you're not going to feel it anymore. So the words that they use freeze us. So for instance, our word of traveling is fear. They, from coming from scarcity, don't want to travel because they could be killed. So the word traveling to them is hostile and causes anxiety. So really, we've got to go into that darkness for things to come to light. And hence the warrior spirit is by nature. If you look at even the Windrush generation, we go into the unknown. This is what we do. To create something, you've got to go into something that you don't know to get that light, stroke intelligence to bring it into fruition. So our nature is to create. Look at the music, look at the fashion, look at the wordplay, look at the designs. We are the ones who go into the darkness to bring things to light. So once again, as Edison says, nature shows you what to do. We've got to throw away all these words and just start becoming warriors and not warriors, and start to do. Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jammers and Edison. Oh my gosh, I got so much from that. I don't even know where to start. And this is why, others can't learn us, others can't teach us who we are. If they even know who we are, they're not going to want to teach us who we are. But we are the ones now who've got to really discover and uncover who we are and tap into that greatness, because from what you're saying, we are Gemma's infinity. We are intelligence, we're light itself, and we have abilities far superior than we can even begin to imagine. But as you say, we need to look to nature now that speaks to us, but then we have to go into that place and that space where we can hear from the cosmos and the intelligence that's out there. So just imagine invisible particles which out there, which is basically billions of intelligences trying to access our mind and connect with us, but we've been locked down as a spirit, and we don't even recognize our other infinite invisible family members, our ancestors who's trying to connect, because we're operating on a different frequency, a low vibrational frequency. And we need to come out of this frequency now and elevate ourselves to a place where we can begin to tap into that light where all of that intelligence is hidden. Oh my gosh, this is just, so this incredible stuff. We are light beings,
Can I just add something? So therefore, if we are intelligence, not light, we're light, that they say light, but we are intelligence, then letters are not letters. Alphabet is not alphabet, it is intelligence. But they've tricked us by telling us it's just a sound or it's just a word. But this is our intelligence symbol. So we have to bypass all these letters and words they're giving us and find out what is the intelligence in that symbol. And that's what it's really about.
Jamis, you got the paradigm of melanin. The more the melanin, the more the dark matter. Light comes out of darkness because darkness is potential, waiting for light to instruct it what to manifest. That's why we're the formless creating form. If I say to you, close your eyes and see darkness, and then I want you to create a dog in your mind, you'll say, okay, out of the darkness, you'll see a picture of a dog on a bright day, and it's wagging its tail, and it's a chihuahua or something like that. You will visualize the whole thing, as I've told you, because out of that darkness, that blackboard, you just need instructions, and your mind will manifest the image and then create it and see it in daylight, whatever form you want to see. Our minds are constantly manifesting 3D reality. And we have potential within us, the dark matter, because our brain is just full of dark matter, potential to be able to manifest thoughts, images, and because we live in what you call the 3D world. Yeah, that 3D world is taking place in our mind. Whatever you see outside of you is a manifestation of your one and only I, which is the manifestation in your mind. There's nothing out there. We're just in a state of darkness, as Janice says, until light is shone upon an object. Then we take that information across our eyes. Then we manifest what it is that we think from the data that is out there. Yeah.
And this is why others who don't look like us control our thinking and try to control the image that they portray of us and want to control our mindset and our thinking of ourselves. Because the minute they, no longer have control of how we see ourselves, and we start to see ourselves as greater than and in the, reality of who we are as this infinite being with so much energy and creativity. The minute we burst out of that cocoon that they put us in, we would become this unstoppable force, you know, that would be able to conquer all that we can imagine and create anything that we can imagine, you know, and that's where fear would go. That's when we would begin to travel. This is when we would begin to experience the reality of who we really are, you know. So this is why there's that, their forces are out there forcing us to subdue us and to oppress us and to keep us down. God, Jammers, oh God, I see you.
Yeah, Jammers, can I quickly say this and then you can jump in? This is why they control the language, because you see an image that you create in your mind and you have no name for it. So they'll give you the name for it. And then they'll tell you what it does. And then they'll tell you how to emotionally behave. That's why we came for a whole education system. They knew you was an infinite creator, but they gave you the words to describe what you see. They gave you the rules of how you should be and how you should emotionally behave. So when you see an image, you use their terminology to create how you feel about that. So they kept us locked in an emotional prison because they gave us the language to describe what we see in our mind and built a whole matrix reality. So now we're no longer manifesting what we want, we're manifesting what we were told to manifest. So we've created their world, and that's why we put them on top of it, because they gave us the world to create in their image, or our creation in their image, and put themselves at the top. So now we worship them because they gave us the world in which we think in.
Wow.
So that's how people want to fix it by fixing it in their world. They can't fix it in their world because our world is using their language to basically conquer them. They built that in there, so that could never happen. They would never have to worry when our mind is programmed.
They fixed us. They've done a fixed up job on us. Wow. Lock us down, strap us up, imprisoned us within their language, their low vibrational language. They've only given us probably is also just a fraction of the language that we're able to communicate in. So that limits what we're able to see. And in all of that, we're not able to see ourselves anyway. Wow. Oh my gosh.
They gave us a term for ourselves.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're not a finite, only God that they created fake is the infinite being, and all of us are subject to that. All of us have to pray for that. So what you can create, you have to pray to an external energy to tell you what you create in your mind when you're creating it.
And that external energy has already given us the ability to create, to think, to communicate with it, and to tap into its sources and to manifest whatever we can think. Wow. They've done a fix-up job on us, Jammers. Them fix us good and proper, not true.
If you look at the English language, you have suffix, prefix, and affix. So even the language is fixed. You know, so what happened really? What's happened is okay, they've controlled the language, but it's not the language they're controlling. They're controlling our science. They're controlling our science. They're controlling the science. That this is what they're really. If you look at the museums, what have they got around them? Not images of them, images of us. If you look at if you look where are they? They're not all in Iceland. They're extracting things from us. So it's ours. They've got access to our science, and they're using our science against us. This is the real deal. You know, and our science, if you look at the Medinetra, which is the showpiece of Africa and the Dogons, you know, basically our science was a science of what? Ascendancy. They called it the Book of Dead. But if you look at their book, we're the one with the dead man on the cross, not us. Yeah. So our science was a science of ascendancy. What's that? To become more like the creative essence. This is what we aspire to, you see. And what they've done, they've hijacked our science of becoming more like the creative essence. And this is what they're using. So they're becoming more like a creative essence, and they've reversed our science against us. That's why it's not a copy. Something that is sacred, you don't change it. You can copy it, but you don't change it. if you put it in a verse, any sound man knows what's a version. A version is when me, yeah, man, me come out with my own style. You're not using the original style. So they've taken our sacred science, they've put it in a version, and even worse, they've reversed it. So what they're teaching us is making us go in the opposite direction to them. And now they've become our gods that we worshipped, that we worship. And even in the word worship, that's what happened to us. We worshipped. So why do we keep saying it?
Yeah.
For real, jammers. Wow, for real. Let me just quickly go to the chat and then I'm going to come back. I want to involve our audience here. Jammers, Brother Edison, if you can look in the chat and if you want to pull up anything in there, please do. I'll just run through. Sound of Music, good to have you in the house as well. Asking where you can pick up a copy of my book. Drop me an email. Sound of Music, Shanice Books 55 at gmail.com. Drop me an email, okay? And I get a copy winging its way to you. Karen's in the house, rising up the family, rise up, rise up. And Sound of Music saying that we have to stand strong as a people, stand up, strong man. Yes, indeed. Doris in the house, greeting us from the Gambia. Rise up, rise up. Great to have you in the house from the Gambia. Says, greetings from the Gambia. Oh, look what happened to Emmett Till. But they murdered him. For real, that is still heartbreaking, heart-wrenching until today. That story of that young Emmett Till. Look what they did to that young, beautiful soul. Yes, enough respect being sent to you and Jammers, Brother Edison, from Sound of Music as well. Dorval is saying not witchcraft, but wordcraft. Update on book. Yeah, wordcraft. Indeed, this is what they're using on us. Thanks, Red Nose. Yes, Jamil Abdullah Al-Amin was the Black Panther. That's right, Sister Shanice spoke of. Thank you so much. Samuel's in the house as well, picking us up from Bournemouth, South Costa. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you in the house. Dorval, noun is also the name of Egyptian god Nun. Okay, thank you for that. Karen, Rising Up Family, good to have you in the house as well. CVT Studios, Rising Up the Family. Yes, good to have Nam in the house as well. Word Sound Power, I think that's, from what you have both been dropping in the house today. Great. Shannon is saying, our way back is an inside job. Our actualizing our greatness comes from connectedness with our creator, ancestors, and our highest self from within. Yes. But we've been talking about how, a lot of us has been like cocooned, imprisoned, and where most of us don't even know that we've got a higher self, much less, being able to unlock ourselves and free ourselves from that cage that we're in. So, our brothers are raising that awareness, but ones like yourself are already aware of that higher self, and tapping into that higher self. And that's something we should all be doing, I think, trying to tap into our higher self. Rise up, Gary Ricketts in the house saying shout out to Sister Shanice and our two brothers. Big up, Mr. Jammers, teach them right knowledge. Amun, Shay Dorafel. That is why I have to have that book, Jammers, because you think outside the box. Dorabelle's crying for that book, Brother Jammers. Hey, she's loving the lyrics that you're dropping. Dave Henry's in the house as well. He's saying, is technology a gift or a curse for higher learning? Let me pause there and drop that, ask our guest that question. We're all talking about AI, artificial intelligence, African intelligence, AI. What is it? What does it mean to you, Brother Edison?
Well, again, how do you say?
Gift or curse?
In Rome, you act as the Romans. So whilst we're here and everyone is using AI to raise their profile in how they do advertising, doing work, then it's a perfect tool. But the thing is, our minds are the original AIs. because the intelligence which we use to see, to hear, to smell, to touch, we have no idea where it comes from. We have no idea how we use it. The mechanism of taking in light and creating an image, I can say it, but the actual mechanism of what's going on in my mind is a separate intelligence altogether. Your heart, your lungs, your liver, what intelligence is doing that? There's another set of intelligence within you that is operating. A woman's womb is the most intelligent thing on the planet because it has the combination of spiritual and technological advancement to be able to create a child to grow in there. So we have had the AI all along. It's just that we didn't tap into our own AI. All they've done is stolen the method of which we, how the AI works. It works on a concept of neurons. So we have, they taught you what they could teach you at school, but within our minds, we have billions of neurons, which are like memory chipsets. And when information comes in, these neurons collect the information. And whenever we're having any thoughts, these neurons of different bits of information turn on, they switch on. This is why whenever someone gives you a word, give it a couple of minutes and you've got 1,000 bits of data. Oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this, I remember that. And the neurons are the ones that are holding all these bits of data that you have within your mind all the time. The way they've created AI is it acts like what your brain does. It consults all the bits of data that you have stored in your neurons, and it works on that principle. So we're in that situation where this machine will overtake us because we're working from one mind and we have emotions, feelings, energies trying to throw us off of what is the truth simply. AI doesn't have that. And they're working off millions of minds. Each machine holds the information of what it's learned. And so when AI asks a question, it asks the question of all the millions of machines that are working on this same network. And it does it at such a speed. Our mind has more neurons, but doesn't have the organization and the lack of emotions that AI has. So technology will be good for us to operate in this world, but we have to get to our own AI in our mind where you're speaking to, sounds crazy, but you're speaking to the intelligence within you that enables you to see, that enables you to hear, that enables you to smell and taste and feel things. And if you can access that AI, then you can go off planet. You're no longer stuck in a world where you only can operate this, see in this world. You can see in other dimensions. You can see in other spaces because you now have control of the mechanism of your mind. You can hear in other timelines where you're sitting in one space and you can say, I want to hear what happened last week. The data is still in the environment. Your mind has the capacity, because it's there, to download that data and then repeat what it is that you've heard. That's why whenever you're going into a new home, you clear out the home of all the energy that was there before, because every act committed in that space still stays in that space, because you don't have the mechanism of how to clear it out. So if people argued and were miserable, you go into that room and you're going to start feeling miserable and argumentative because the energy that the people had in that room is still there. So our technology we need to focus on. Don't worry about what AI is doing. AI is going to do what it does. The problem that AI has is that people no longer want to think for themselves, and they want AI to do anything. Oh, I need to find this. I need to find that. I need to, make my bed. Let me ask AI for everything. And the next generation, they are hooked onto AI from such a young age. Their capacity to be able to connect to what is their higher selves, which are just older versions of them in existence in other dimensions, which is a whole nother story. But they won't have the need to do that. They will believe, because we did a class about sometime this year where they said, is AI going to become the new Jehovah? And the truth is, it is. It's already here. People are going to go to AI to do tarot readings. They're going to go to AI to do everything. And because it has such a massive database at its disposal, it'll be able to do things faster than someone who's a babalawo. They'll be able to find this, find that. So spiritually, it'll be there. People will go to it for absolutely everything, no longer think, and lose the capacity to think, lose the capacity to ask their higher selves for information. And before you know, we'll be going to AI for absolutely everything in 20 years' time. There'll be kids that have never had to think for themselves because AI has always done that for them. So it is a problem in waiting. It's for us where we had other options. We had books, we read books. They won't have books because AI will have all the answers to all the questions. The children won't need to study anything because they can just ask AI to give them the answer to all their homework. Teachers will be their tablets. So it's going in a direction we can't stop. So you just get on board, understand, so you can create some sort of barriers in your children to say, yeah, what do you know? How do you think? How do you see it? Because we'll lose the capacity to think, to reason. That neocortex in the center of our brain will be redundant because we'll ask AI to do the reasoning for us. So I know it sounds like a bit of a rant, but we are going to be in trouble. But work on your own AI, work on your own mind, because you're going to be blaming AI for what you haven't done for yourself.
So for us, it's potentially a curse then, because, you know, we have that natural intelligence, but if we set that aside and use their artificial intelligence instead of our Asian intelligence, then yeah, we are not going to be able to discover who we are. I'm going to put the same questions to Jammers in just a second. Let me just rise up those who are commenting in the chat. Thank you for that question there, Dave Henry, as well, and Gary Ricketts. Thank you for your points as well. Gary's saying the light manifests as solid on this plane. So the manifestation comes from the invisible to the physical and manifests as something solid and tangible in this plane. Rise up. Dorvel says, this is for you, Jammers. Nest is the nest which is home. Intelligence from within, says Gary. And we've got Karen here who's rising us up as well, rising you up for the Black King's point of view, because as women, we love to hear from you, our kings. Rise up, Sister Angie in the house as well, saying gratitude, full uprising family from Ghana. Rise up yourself, Sister Shanice. Sister Angie in the house. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. She was very much part of the team there that was looking at what it is to be human, and is now enjoying herself in Ghana. How is Ghana, beloved? How is Ghana? Brother Chalmers, let me put that question to you as well. AI, curse or what was it? Blessing or a curse?
Well, firstly, you have to get one thing clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
The man from the West only has one purpose: to destroy itself. Yeah. Earlier in the comment, you said the nest is home. Yeah. The man sees himself from the West by his own religion, sees himself born into sin as nature's reject. He sees that the earth repels him. What is repel? R-E-P-E-L. When you read repel by reversing the constituency of the word repel, you get the word leper. See? The man from the West believes his woman brought him into this state of being repelled by nature. Eve made him ill by his words, evil. He's rejected the womb energy. He's rejected nature. His only purpose is to destroy himself by replacing himself with machines. He would even replace his own partner with a machine. The man from the West is technologicalizing. I say it again, technological. I'll say it one more time. Technologicalizing himself out of existence. This is his whole purpose of life. Look at his movies: destruction, killing, obliteration. Look at his games, destruction, not completion, competition. Look at his nursery crimes, killing and murder. He entertains himself by destruction. Look at the word slaughter. There's laughter in the word slaughter. So this man is destroying himself by his very inventions, hence Frankenstein's monster. We are the people of what? The golden touch. Everything we touch, look at how our women make food. No cookbook. You know, everything we touch, we turn it into gold. Whatever they use, a knife is you can either use it to kill, or you can use it to make food. We had a creative source called gunpowder. They use it to destroy things. So the same AI that they once again, we come from nature. They come from their interpretation, which is art. They've made art the official source, hence the word artificial. We come from nature. We're the people with golden touch. We can take everything as a tool. Look at the word tool backwards. They use it to loot. Our mindset is not to loot because we already have. So we can take this AI, artificial intelligence, and elevate our African intelligence with it. Boom.
Wow, rise up, rise up. So we need to be tapping into our own African intelligence. Gareth says some people have great presence. It's in the blood. We've not really touched on the blood, have we?
No.
You might want to say something on that, Brother Janos. Go ahead.
Now, what I was just saying about the AI, you can actually outmaneuver that AI. The AI is only limited by the input that it's been given. We've been tricked into thinking that this artificial AI is more intelligent than infinity. But when you put the AI to the test, the AI has to bow down to the master. When I say master, I'm saying the woman, because Ma means woman, star means the moon, the womb energy. We come from a higher force than any man made. So when I put this AI to the test, it has to bow down to the greatness of us.
Indeed. Thank you, Brother Janos.
Well, so you said something about blood. Oh, I'll pass it over to Edison, the blood. I'll pass it over to Edison.
Yeah. Blood, the DNA, as they found out that DNA, a drop of DNA is like this massive library. This library, I think a drop of DNA, like a gram, is like so many terabytes of data that it can hold. So the totality of your body can hold all the information that exists in this whole planet. We are walking libraries. It used to upset me when people used to come and say, where's the Akashic records? And I would say the Akashic records are within you. You have the knowledge of everything about everyone and everything that can take place. What they did is filter you to become a human. So you only looked at the world from the filter in your mind. All the bits of information that your eye takes in, which is about 4 million bits of data a second, you only use about 2,000 of it based on the filter of what your mind has been created with the story that you have. So within your blood holds everything about everyone, your ancestors, all their bloods, all the stories, everything that they've been through is also in your blood. That's why if you're able to slow yourself down and listen, because more people react based on these energies within them, based on their fear, then they have the capacity to listen without reacting to it. So we always will get you to still your mind, still yourself, and just listen to the information. You are the actual silence. You're the silence, because everything is trying to talk and prevent you from being able to be silent. Because when you need to think about something, what do you need to do? You need to be silent. And then you can hear from your higher self inside, bring information from your ancestor inside, because you essentially exist underneath the noise. The noise is what basically creates. So your DNA, your blood holds all the information you ever need to know. If you can just calm your mind down and be silent and not be listening to the chatter that's going on in your head, deliberately designed to confuse you, you can hear all the answers that you need to hear. And your real power, this creative genius, is sitting there waiting for you to listen. If you can just get out your own way, shut your mouth or shut them down and allow that information to come up within you. So it's a simple thing. It's just that to know all the different things that are there. But I can see you're coming to the hour. So go ahead, Sister Shanice.
Yes, we are indeed. We are 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. And, you know, the conversations that we've been having today has just been absolutely amazing. And it's for me, it's about us reclaiming the knowledge of who we really are in the spiritual essence and fulfillment of being that infinite being, that all-seeing, all-knowing, infinite being that's able to tap into the unseen, to bring from the invisible realm to the visible realm, and to make the invisible, you know, physical and solid matter here in this realm. But, you know, we have, through the language that we are using today, been cut off and disconnected from, you know, our true self and our true essence, the true essence of who we are. Will we as a people be able to find ourselves in this infinite cosmos world? You know, remind those of us who might want to try of when your classes are, Brother Edison, and how they can get in touch with you to go on that journey.
No problem. Normally, you can go to our website, ancestralessence.com, and leave a message. The details of this course I'm running on Sunday is not there, but it can be found. If you contact me, leave a message, I can give you all the details of the course, what it's about. It's a 10-week course. We're going to cover how the world is created and your 3D reality. We're going to cover how these energies have been impacting you all of your lives. Things like guilt, fear, depression are all entities that take away energy from you and leave you tired. Yes, so if you can go via my website, ancestralessence.com, Facebook, you can find me there as well, on ancestralessence.com, and my name, Edison Abandge. Leave the details and we'll be able to send you the information, leave your contact numbers, and we'll contact you. We haven't got much time because it's all going to take place on Sunday, but the more the merrier. And this journey that we're going on that course is going to be a place where no one's really gone into this information on that level. And once you've gone through it, you're going to recognize that your life has never been your own. It's always been trying to keep another energy happy. And that's why no matter how much you go through life, it only seems to be the entertainment parts that you remember. The rest doesn't seem to matter. As long as I'm entertained, I'm okay. And we can't just have come here just for the entertainment.
And the other frequency that we're trying to, the other energy that we're trying to keep happy is a lower frequency than us. And by keeping that lower frequency happy, we'll never tap into the true greatness of who we really are. Wow, wow, wow. Drop me the details of your course so that we can put it in the description under this video, please. Brother Jammers, just a few closing remarks from you, beloved. Oh, by the way, Dora Bell's not letting you off. She wants to know when she can get your book.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to sort that out. I've got my course coming out in March, but in between that time, in the meantime, I'll be working on getting the book out there, you know, plus also a new book. I'd like to thank you once again for allowing us to come on your platform. Yeah, and yes, make sure you go on Edison's course. It's gonna definitely be a mind opener. Boom.
Thank you so much, Brother Jammers and Brother Edison. And to everyone in the audience, oops, please mute, Brother Jammers. I'm getting some feedback. Sorry about that. Yeah, to everyone in the audience who's stuck with us throughout the evening, those of you from the UK, from the USA, from Ghana, from wherever you are in the world, Gambia, who've been watching us today. We thank you so, so much. Apologies if I didn't get around to reading out your comment, but please do read the comments, family. Some good advice and information in there that's been shared. Also want to rise up Brother Kwame Abandge in his absence, and Sister Afrijamo in her absence, and the Jamaica Drunkra in her absence, and Sheriff S in her absence. You know, these are some of our regular audience members who you know, for one reason or another is not with us today, but we haven't forgotten you at all. Brother Jammers, Brother Edison, it's been another wonderfully enlightening program, and let's hope that this program starts to reprogram our mind and our thinking about who we are, and start being able to see ourselves for the great energetic light and infinite being that we really are. More strength, more power to you. Thank you so, so much. All being well, family, I'll see you back here next Wednesday. We're going to have a show with a twist. I've got an artist from Jamaica who's in the Gambia right now. She goes by the name of Empress Miner, and she is the niece of the late great Sugar Miner himself. She's going to be a guest on the show next strong, so please do join us. Edison, Jammers,
Yes,
up
thank
on
you.
yourself. You're doing an awesome, fantastic, blacktastic job. More strength to both of you.